Hi everyone and welcome to this video. This is a review for Exam 1 in Math OD2, which covers chapters 1 and 2. Let's begin. In the first problem, we're asked to solve this equation, which clearly contains fractions. The first thing we need to do for this problem is we need to distribute the negative 4 using multiplication. That's going to give us negative 4 times 7 over 3x, and then negative 4 times negative 1 gives us positive 4. Note that the rest of the equation is not changing, so we will bring it down unchanged. The next thing you will probably realize or notice is that we have some fractions. We have a 3 here, here, and here. So I could go ahead and simplify this in one way. I could do negative 4 times 7. Negative 4 times 7 is 28. Remember, if you want to do that, you can put negative 4 over 1. When we multiply fractions, we're just multiplying across. But again, I still have the problem of the fractions. So the easiest and fastest way to eliminate fractions is to multiply by the LCD. In this case, the LCD is 3. So what we're going to do is each and every term is going to get multiplied by 3. So what does that look like? That looks like 3 times 2/3 x minus 3 times 5/3 equals 3 times negative 28x over 3. And I ran out of room here, so I'll rewrite this. Plus 3 times 4. Okay, so the fun part of this is that now I can cross out a bunch of the 3's. So these cancel out, these cancel out, these cancel out, and what we're left with is 2x minus 5 equals negative 28x plus 12. Okay, so again, we go through all that work so that we can get rid of all the fractions. Now our goal is to isolate the variable. So we have a 2x on one side and a negative 28 on the other. Again, notice I'm keeping my left side and right side of my equation completely separate from each other. I can, again, draw a line down the middle here to remind myself that what the two sides are. Okay, so I always like to try to keep the coefficients of my variables positive whenever possible. So I'm going to add 28x to both sides of the equation. And when I do that, that gives me 30x minus 5 equals 12. Okay, so at this point, you can see we're kind of out of room here. So let me write the LCD equals 3 over here. So I will come up here and see if I can use the space on the right-hand side to finish the problem. So we have 30x minus 5 equals 12. Okay, so again, my goal is to isolate the variable. That means that I want to leave the variable exactly where it is, and I want to move everything that's not the variable to the other side of the equation. Again, it's always a good idea to draw that vertical line so you don't get the two sides of your equation confused. So to start isolating my variable, I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and then these cancel out. We get 30x is equal to 12 plus 5, which is 17. And then last but not least, I can divide both sides by 30. And since 17 is a prime number, nothing goes into it but 17 and 1, that is my final answer. Remember, I do not want a decimal for an answer. You want to keep it as a fraction. If you typed 17 over 30 into your calculator, you would see that that would give you an approximate answer. What your calculator gives you is something that looks like this. Okay, so again, if that was your answer, you would lose points. Okay, we want it in exact form, in fraction form, not as approximations. All right, let's do another problem. So here's number 2. The text is kind of weird, so I'm not sure if you can see this negative sign in front of the 2/3, but the problem is actually negative 2/3 x plus 5y equals 10. Okay, so let's read the directions very carefully. They're asking us to find the y-intercept. Okay, so let's just review what we need to do to find either the x or the y-intercept. So you might recall to find the x-intercept, we set y equal to 0 and solve for x. And to find the y-intercept, I would need to set x equal to 0 and solve for y. Okay, so again, be careful. Make sure you know both of these pieces of information. Okay, and make sure you're very careful about which one they're asking for. Okay, in our case, they're asking us for the y-intercept, so that means we have to set x equal to 0 and solve. So here is x equals 0. So we have negative 2/3 times 0 plus 5y is 10. Okay, this whole thing goes to 0, so we just have 5y equals 10. And we divide by 5, we find that y equals 2. Now, it also asks us to express our answer as an ordered pair. So my final answer is that x equals 0 and y equals 2. So I write that as the ordered pair 0, 2. And that is my final answer. So even though it didn't ask for it, right, what would we have done if we had to find the x-intercept? So remember, to find the x-intercept, right, I'd have to set y equal to 0. Okay, and then I would have to solve for x. So that would give me 2/3 x equals 10. Remember, the way we undo this fraction is to multiply by the reciprocal. And then we end up with x equals, in this case, negative 15. So my x-intercept for this problem would be negative 15, 0. So notice, if you're asked to find the x-intercept, that means that the y value is going to be 0. And notice that if you're asked to find the y-intercept, then your x value is going to be 0. So again, spend some time studying how to find both the x and y-intercept. Make sure you know how to do that. And most importantly, make sure you understand that at the end, you have to rewrite it as an ordered pair. So for example, if I had stopped here at x equals negative 15, right, I would not get full credit for that problem. Okay, likewise here, if I had stopped at just y equals 2, and I had not written 0, 2, I would also not get full credit for that problem. Okay, let's keep going. So number 3, all we need to do is to find the equation of this line. So they're asking for slope-intercept form. So one thing I might do to remind myself what I'm trying to find is I might write the slope-intercept form of an equation on my paper. Remember, that's not something you're given. It's something that you have to remember. Okay? So there's two pieces of information here. We need our slope and we need our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is where this line is crossing the y-axis. So hopefully you can see that that is at positive 2. So b is going to be plus 2. Okay, finding the slope takes a little bit more work. If you think about going from this point to this point, in order to do that, we would need to go up 2 units, and we would need to go right 3 units. So that tells us that our slope is positive 2 over 3. So the final answer for this problem is y equals 2/3 x plus 2. And again, all I need to have on my paper is this work here. Okay, I do not want you to take any time to copy this graph or the problem. Okay, so please don't spend the time on your test copying the problem unless, for example, like number 1, you're going to have to copy this equation, because how are you going to solve it if you didn't copy it? Okay, but don't copy the text, don't copy the words. Same thing here, right? Don't copy the words, just copy negative 2/3 x plus 5y equals 10, and then maybe, write yourself a note that you're trying to find the y-intercept so you don't forget what you're doing, okay? I also suggest that when you're taking the test, try to give yourself lots of space. You can scan as many pages as you want, so maybe consider giving yourself one piece of paper per problem. All right, let's keep going. Number 4. Okay, so now we're asked to find the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points. So the first thing I need to write down is the slope formula. Again, that's not something that you're given. It's something that you need to know, that you need to have at the tip of your brain, that you can write down at any point. Okay, so on my paper, the only thing that I need to copy or transcribe from this problem is the ordered pair. Okay, that's the only information I need. Again, please don't copy the whole problem. That's just a waste of time. Okay, so remember, this is x and y, this is x and y. Okay, and usually we just call the first one 1 and the second one 2, just kind of out of sheer laziness. All right, so y2 is negative 2, y1 is negative 7. Watch your signs, because they're tricky. Negative 16 minus negative 10. Okay, at this point, I want to rewrite it with positive signs. So we have negative 2 plus 7, because minus a negative is plus a positive. And we have negative 16 plus 10. Okay, so remember, you always have your calculator. You don't have to do this by mental math. You can if you want to. You certainly don't have to. So my final answer is 5 over 6. Again, I invite you to remember, it doesn't matter where you park your car, right? So we could have negative 5 over 6. We could write 5 over negative 6, or we could put the negative sign on the outside and write negative 5 over 6 this way. Okay, these are all equivalent expressions. They are all the correct answer. Also notice that all we're asked for here is the slope, not the equation. So please don't take extra time on this problem trying to find the equation because we were not asked to do so. And doing something that the problem doesn't ask for is just going to suck up time that you could be using to do something else. For example, maybe checking your work. All right, let's look at number 5. So number 5 is asking us to rewrite this equation in slope-intercept form. So right now, you might notice, it doesn't really matter, but it happens to be in point slope form. So the first thing I have to do is multiply. So negative 1 times x is negative 1x. This is applying the distributive property. Negative 1 times negative 3, watch your signs there, is positive 3. So we have y minus 5 is equal to negative 1x plus 3. Again, let's remember, what is our goal? What is slope-intercept form? Well, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. What that means is that I need to isolate this y. In other words, I need to get rid of the negative 5. Get rid of a negative 5 by adding 5 to both sides. Again, I forgot to draw my vertical line. I'll do that real quick. So I bring down the y. These cancel out. So I have y is equal to negative 1x plus 2. Okay? And I'm going to rewrite my x. It looks kind of weird. There we go. Okay? So does this look like y equals mx plus b? It absolutely does, right? So we can see that our slope is negative 1 and our b is 2. We have it in the right form, so we can say that we're done. Okay, this one's pretty straightforward. The slope of a horizontal line is blank, the slope of a vertical line is blank, and then we're asked to sketch the graph of x equals negative 2. So on your paper, if this is a test, you can just write 0 next to number 6. Then you can, number 7, right, you can just write undefined. Okay, and then of course for number 8, this is the first of the problems where you are required to graph things. So as I mentioned in class, it's a really great idea to have your own graph paper. If you're doing this remotely and you have to graph on your own paper, and I said in class, if you don't have any graph paper, or if you don't have a printer where you could print some blank graph paper, please email me or come see me so I can help you with that. Okay, so x equals negative 2. How do we graph this? Well, let's see. Where is x equal to negative 2? Well, x equals negative 2 right here. Well, where else is x equal to negative 2? Well, it turns out x equals negative 2 at a bunch of places. All of these points, right, are a line where x equals negative 2. So that means that we can draw a line here and connect these dots. And so we get this vertical line here, looks like that, and that is the line x equals negative 2. Okay, and again, that's all you really need to have on your piece of paper. That's what I'm looking for that problem.